Welcome to JenTalks. And if you're receiving this talk live and you're wondering why it's not on a Friday, it's on a Sunday, I just want to apologize. I try my best to get a Gen Talk out on a weekly basis. And usually Friday is my day for delivering my talk. But I was back to back work this week, thank God. And Sunday is my day today. So I want to recap on a post that I put on social media this week, asking people or inviting people to have a think about what they would like to remember about September. So very much away from the idea that we have a to-do list for September. We need to go back to the gym or go do things that we feel that we have a have to energy for instead of a want to energy. That's what I'm really trying to move away from. And it doesn't mean we don't want to achieve things, but it's like the big I suppose motivation behind this talk is intention. So when we think about the month of September, and really it can be any month, but just we have that lovely rhyme that goes on September, remember, so we can do the same for October and November or December if you wish. But think about it like this. When we get to the very end of September, what is it that we want to look back over and say, well, that was a great month because, or that was a successful month, or that was a productive month because. And it's starting out into the month with an intention. So it's not even necessarily a goal, it's not necessarily an action, although our intentions inform our goals and they certainly inform our actions. So think of when I was running the Every Month Matters network, it was the idea that people would come together and intentionally head into a month with a particular mindset or a conscious intention that this month I'm going to focus on X, Y, or Z. And instead of trying to kind of look at our time, often we set out a plan for the year, a New Year's resolution, a time frame like Lent, a 5-year plan. To me, in my own experience, and this is how my mind works, so I'm just sharing it with you guys, is those time frames are too long. So we cut them down into shorter pieces and we say to ourselves, okay, for the remainder of the month, because it's the 5th of September now, the remainder of the month, how do I intend to be? And when we think about how we intend to be, then we can look at, okay, what supports or what tools or what strategies do I need in order for me to remain like that? So, for example, for September, one of the intentions that I have is to be productive. So I would, one of my own flaws, I would do an awful lot of things to 70 to 80%, and I don't always get to the 100%. So I'm looking at kind of being more productive from the point of view of staying focused and being more productive. And hopefully then that's going to, the outcome of that then for the month of September, when I finish at the end of September, I want to look back at this month and go, okay, there's a good few things off my list that I really wanted to get finished and I wanted to get done and I want to stand over with pride. Now, when we come back to the actions, then we go into, okay, well, what helps me to be more focused and be more productive? So for my own personal experience, I know that when I keep my Qigong practice up in the mornings, which has fallen the wayside in the last week, that I am definitely more productive and more focused because I have more energy, So my personal experience with Qigong practice is it gives me more energy. I also will be returning to some more of my positive intelligence work, particularly around the mindfulness and the breath work. So I'll be doing that daily. If anybody's interested, I have tons of videos on my channel. So there's breath work videos there. I'm going to put one up this week on EFT. The students I've been working with this week have just absolutely fallen in love with emotional freedom technique, and they use a process called tapping, and I'm trained in positive EFT. So I'm going to put a video on this week just specifically for that group, but it'll be a public video. So if you're interested in learning more and taking part in something like that, it'll be there and it'll be available for everybody. So we all have our own strategies and tools. So my friend that I work very closely with, Sue, anyone knows Sue Mullen, we run the Foundations for Life program together. Her strategy is running. So she's a runner. That's what she does. She has her yoga practice. So when she wants to be her best self, then she leans on her strategies and tools to support her in that. So what we do for the month of September or any month that we want to head into in a conscious, intentional way is we ask ourselves the question, how do I intend to be how would I like to be for September? And then my intention is to be, and in my case, it's more productive and focused. Well, really productive, because when I'm focused, I'm more productive. And then the question comes into goals and actions. What do I need to do in order to support my productivity? And boundaries is in there. So learning to say no to a lot more people, saying yes to the right things, to the things that are productive, that will feed my productivity. Also looking after myself, self-care is in there. So really looking after myself and rewarding myself. So when I have a productive day, instead of going, well, that's great, now I had a productive day, I might try and do a few more hours in the evening because I'm in super productive form. Say, no, well done, Jenny. That was a productive day. And rewarding yourself with whatever that might be. That might be a bath, it might be a walk, it might be a meal. That is minding yourself and looking after yourself and giving yourself a little pat on the back. We need that. And then also when we think about the goal then and say, so when I'm productive, what would my end of month look like? So my end of month would look like there's 3 particular projects that I would like to have to the percent of 100% completeness. That's ideally where I'm heading towards. And if I can ask myself the question every single day, what one thing can I do to move myself closer to that goal? And it might be to spend 10 minutes on the project. It could be to do my qigong. It could be to do nothing. It could be to rest. But only I know the answer to that question. But it's putting the question on the agenda and every day reminding yourself that you're moving a little bit closer to your goal. So have a think. I would encourage you to have a think about what you would love to get out of September. What would make your September a September to remember? Is it something you've always wanted to do? Is it something that you want to improve in? Is it something that you want to take up? Is it something that you want to put down? Is something that you want that's a little bit different than you have right now, that's going to make September a month to remember? And then work at it from the point of view of how you intend to be. Because everything you want to do or get rid of is all about how you want to feel. And how you want to feel is the intention, because we communicate all of the time with emotions, and that's our feelings. And when we tap into our feelings, that's really how we create, I suppose, our reality and our behavior. So listen, it's not just about what it is you want to do, what it is you don't want to do. It's about when you do that, how does it make you feel? So I could say, well, for the month of September, I want to write a book. Well, if I was to write a book, how would that make me feel? And then it's that feeling that I intend to be. So that's where the intention comes from, how you want to feel, who you want to be. And use whatever supports or tools that you already know work for you. Have a little think about what has worked for you in the past that's helped you to feel your best self, because you need to be your best self to carry out your intentions and to get through your actions and achieve your goal. And also then don't be afraid to look at what didn't work in the past, because where we failed or where we learned differently, I like to think of failure as a different way of learning. So where we've learned differently, ask yourself, what did you learn from that? What caused that to stand in your way? What are the blocks and what are the challenges? Often we have this idea that we don't look at the negativity because it might affect our creativity. But you need to look at the challenges to avoid them. You have to see them. If you don't see them, then they become pitfalls. And that's where we have that expression, we become blindsided, because we have blind spots to what the pitfalls might be. Like my pitfall is definitely procrastination, and I know that. So now I recognize that, and I also recognize the saboteur that's trying to cause me to procrastinate, which is called the avoider. And I hear that kind of voice in my head saying, oh, well, why don't you do this instead? Because this is so much nicer. So it's about that awareness, bringing it back to your awareness as well. So on that note, guys, I'll try and keep it under 10 minutes, and I hope you enjoyed today's talk. Just to remind everybody, if you haven't heard me talking about this before now, I'm starting with a new cohort of life coaches in September 21st. That's a life and executive coaching program. I'm also speaking at the Wellbeing Network next Tuesday on the Mind Body Energy Connection. And then towards the end of this month, maybe early next month, depending on the venue, myself and Sue from the Foundations for Life program are running a course for parents, carers, or guardians of teenagers particularly anybody affected by the impact of COVID and the whole lockdown and the stress and anxiety, to teach parents tools and strategies and techniques for themselves and to cope with their teenagers, and I suppose to serve them better and support them better. And that's an in-person workshop. So in other words, we'll be physically together in a room, obviously in line with COVID restrictions and safety, but it'll be nice to actually be together as a group. So keep an eye on Facebook, keep an eye on all the social media platforms. All the information will be posted there. And I will look forward to connecting with you again, same time, not necessarily on a Sunday, but definitely next week for another one of the JenTalks series. And so thank you so much for your time today. Take care and see you all soon. Bye now.